what are some must-dos after today that people can embrace in order to normalize talking about their faiths, bringing their full religious identities to work, and some of the systemic barriers we can be interrupting?
Yeah, I say this as someone who is passionate about this issue and also sensitive to the legal realities around discussing religion or asking about it, right? And the potential for religious bias undercutting you or your colleagues. And so I think step one for us is to understand that, okay, more than 85% of the world's population identifies as religious. So whether we ourselves are interested in religion or not isn't really the issue here. And whether or not within our small pockets of where we live, religion is on the rise or declining, I mean, that's also immaterial. We have to recognize that this is a real thing for people. And I think that's step one, right? Like really understanding what's at stake, and then recognizing that as a society, we typically don't do that well when it comes to cultural competency, especially for minoritized groups, and taking the initiative to say, okay, if this is not something I'm learning at school, if this is not something that I'm learning in the workplace, if this is not something that's showing up in our media, then probably I need to be intentional about educating myself. And I think that initial initiative is so true across the board for all sorts of diversity, equity, inclusion work. And it's particularly true for religion, not just because it's an aspect of identity that we don't typically think about, but it's because it's one that we typically avoid actively. And so as much as we avoid it socially, that's how much we have to be intentional about building our own understanding individually. I think a second really important step from educating yourself is once you start to become aware about different ways in which religious practitioners show up, then you will start to understand, okay, if these are things that are differently important to differently people, and how can I think about inclusive practices in ways that are accounting for the various people around me, and also that are flexible enough to allow for a difference. And so I'll just give you one example of something we've been dealing with in our workplace, and that is we have people on our team who pray, and they pray at certain times of day, and often, especially here in the States, what I have learned is for them, they do it quietly. They don't tell anyone. They often go to the bathroom and pray there, which is not exactly an ideal place for worship. And so it's a hidden experience that you would probably never know about. But if you are informed about how people show up and what's important to them, then you would have the awareness to ask, okay, for certain people, this is an issue, and what could it look like for me to build in time or to create a space in the workplace for this community of people who have real needs. And so that's number two, right? Like, what would it look like to be an advocate for more inclusion, right? Like if you're thinking about the holiday counter, how do you build in flex time so that people can choose to take time off on holidays that are more important for them culturally? And the third is, and I think this is really important, and it's probably the most intuitive in terms of inclusion for religious minorities and people of all religious backgrounds, and that is you're not going to be able to know everything about everyone. You're not going to be able to know what's important to people at all times. You're not going to be able to know how they want to show up and what would be valuable to them. And so ensuring that you create a culture, an environment where they feel safe to come forward and say, I know this is something that is important to you. I know it's important to me, and I want to ask for X, Y, Z as part of what would make me feel like I could show up as my full self. And so this third piece is just simply saying what we all already know to be true, which is if you create that safe, trusted space where people really feel like they belong, then they can show up and share with you what it is that they need. And I think that is the healthiest way to go in this regard.